Warning contains scenes that some viewers may find extremely upsetting. You have been warned.
Hey guys, what is up, Gamer Who's Pony? How y'all doing? I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I just want to quickly do a little intro to this. This is my Black Ops 6 beta thoughts, basically. I did this for MW3, what my thoughts on it were, and this is what this is going to be. I just want to quickly explain that this took me about almost 3 hours to work on, and that was just the course of over 2 to 3 weeks because my grandfather ended up in the hospital. I've been visiting my grandmother, keeping her company now and then, and also just keep making sure she's okay and all that stuff. Everything's fine right now. He's getting some treatment, but we're having some hiccups along the way, so videoing is going to be a little bit slow, but that's why it took me so long to make the BO6 thoughts. That's all I wanted to say, just let you guys know why it took so long to do it. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. The Black Ops 6 beta was actually pretty fun. I actually slightly enjoyed it. There was a few things that kind of ticked me off, which we'll talk about. And the first thing I want to talk about is the movement system. So the movement system is called ambient or ambient. I don't know how it's really pronounced. But basically what this does is instead of being able to run forwards and jumping forwards, you can also run backwards, left and right, and jump backwards, left and right. It's a really cool system. I rarely use it, mainly because to do it's a little difficult. You have to push a different button to jump while you're sprinting, so you have to hit the sprint button, hit a different button to activate the ambient jump system, I guess. And then if you want to jump backwards, you just hit S as that's happening, all at the same time. Same with doing left and right. You hit A or D and do it. So while you're holding shift, the jump button, which I think is the alt button if I'm not mistaken on mouse and keyboard, and then you just gotta hit the A or D, which is really hard to do. I kind of wish that I could just hit the jump button. It just does it. Instead, when I'm sprinting, so I sprint, hit the jump, and then hit A or D, instead of having to try to move my thumb underneath my hand pretty much to hit the alt button. I wish I could change that. It's a really cool system. Also, part of the ambient movement is when you're looking left and right, just half your body turns, not the whole body. And then when you look behind you, then your whole body will flip around to look behind. Kind of like how old COD used to do it, but now you're able to only have half your body move. The other thing is the ragdoll physics. I seen something about this during the showing of the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 before the beta. And the new ragdoll system basically depends on where your person is getting shot and what they're getting shot with, depending, I would have to assume how that would work. So if you're shot in the head, your body would flop forwards or back or to the side, depending on which part of the head it was shot in. If your character was shot in the legs and dies, then they could flop forwards or back or to the side, again, depending on how that works. I know they said they reworked the ragdoll physics on how it's getting shot, how it interacts with being shot. So that's kind of cool. I didn't really see too much of it. It looks like about the same as any other COD, so I really didn't see too much of a difference in it. But still, it's kind of cool that they're still trying to improve on that, which I don't think they should. They should just leave it alone because we get really good reactions with the current system that it has, so I don't think they need to change it. Alright, and then let's talk about the weapons, since everybody's going to want to know about the weapons. So we had tons of weapons in the game. I think if I count correctly, we had 14 weapons and then plus the knife, so that's 15 in total. And the main weapons that were mainly used was the SMGs, but we'll go with the assault rifles first and see if I can remember their names. I probably don't. I probably didn't write down the names of the weapons, which is kind of going to piss me off now. So we had the XM4, we had the AK-74, then we had a CMS something assault rifle. I don't think that's the name of it, but I just remember a C. These were pretty good. The XM4 and the third assault rifle that you get were pretty good. The AK is the most powerful one out of them all because it has a higher firepower, but the XM4 has a much more higher fire rate. The C8 actually is a good balance of both fire rate and kill and damage. But I think the XM4 is way better just because you can put rapid fire on, and it's really nasty with rapid fire. But a lot of people use the C8 or the very last assault rifle you get, so that's kind of how it was. But then the next category is the SMGs, and oh my fucking god, I don't know what they were thinking when they made these. So we had the C9, the Jackal PDW, and then the new one that they added was called the Tonto .22. Everybody is saying that the Tonto .22 was really good. However, even if it was, Raven and Trey all stupidly fucked up here, and they said they nerfed the PDW, the Jackal PDW, and they didn't. It was still really good. People were still using the shit out of it, and then they buffed actually the C9, which I don't know why the Jackal PDW and the C9 were the most used guns. Even when the Tonto .22 came out, the Jackal PDW and the C9 were still being used, and mainly more of the Jackal PDW, even though they said it was nerfed. It felt like it wasn't nerfed. I actually used it after the nerf, and I still fucking dumpstered with it. And it's so fucking, it's pathetic. They kind of technically lied. I don't know what they did to nerf it, but it wasn't really fully nerfed. And then during the beta, we also had the shotgun, which was called the Marina SP shotgun. This thing is actually not that bad once you max it out to get the good pulse on it, but as its default, about up to the very end, it's not that good. I tested this with rapid fire, trying to make the spread very last, and it was kind of still not good, but it was better than when it's in its default state, even the default weapon. But you would have to get it to its very end of its max level to get the good stuff. And I don't know why the devs are so afraid of making shotguns, very good, especially close quarter combat good. They're designed for shotguns are designed for close quarter combat. Especially if I make mine in the baby format, it should be really good, but it's not. They're so afraid of making shotguns good, and we just don't know why. It's not that hard to make shotguns good in close quarter and make them shitty for long range unless you have a slug. Which, by the way, slugs suck in this. Don't use them. I've used slugs, and they are random on one-shotting, even in close quarter. They're so random. But shotgun in here didn't feel really good unless this is just a dog shit version shotgun, and then the other shotguns that also hopefully are in the game will be better, but I won't know until the actual game comes out. Then we had the one LMG, which is called the XMG. It's just the XM4. Fuck me, I forgot the name of it now. XM4. And what this does is this is just making it an LMG format. So it takes a little bit more bigger, higher round caliber, and then it just turns into an LMG format, which is really fucking good for the LMG. It is slow to aim up and everything, and the handling is a little hard to control, but once you get the right pulse on it, it's actually not that bad. And it's really good. Like a good YouTuber who I watch is I Am Marksman used it, and he dumpstered people with it, and he actually won the game with it and got best play and all that. So it's actually kind of cool. So it really does show that it's really good. But like I said, the slow fire rate, even if you get pulse to make the fire to ADS faster, it's still going to be hard to use, especially because of the slow reloading, which is supposed to be like 5 seconds, I believe, is usually the standard, but this feels like it's an 8 second. So hopefully there's more LMGs. I would love to see all the LMGs. I would try to max those out quickly as I can. The LMGs and the shotguns I would try to max out, and the pistols too. I would max out the pistols, but I would love to see more LMGs. The marksman rifles are kind of dog shit. Well, I should be phrased that the first marksman rifle that we got, which was in the open beta, not the open, early access. That's what I was trying to think of. The early access one, I can't remember the name of me. It's a 3-round burst gun, and basically it was dog shit. At least in my opinion, it was dog shit. I should be able to kill people from medium to short range. Even at medium range, it's taking me 6 shots, which is 2 trigger pulls, because it does 3-round bursts. So that's 2 trigger pulls. It still didn't kill him. Now the DM10 is what I believe is the second one that came out in the open beta. This can 2-shot, potentially 2-shot, depending on the range it's at. Long range, it's probably going to do somewhere between 4 to 6 shots, but if it's medium to close range, it'll do somewhere between 4 to 2 shots, and close range is definitely a 2-shot. I've seen it do it. If you get the right pulse on it and all that, it can be just fucking nasty. It can just be fucking nasty. I didn't really use these all that much, honestly, because one, I don't do DMO and stuff like that. I kind of like the assault rifles, SMGs, and pistols and stuff like that. I like those. I don't like marksman or sniper rifles. I'm not that type of person, especially when it comes to Call of Duty, who's kind of dog shit at it. I only use sniper rifles in the campaign. Other than that, I don't use them in zombies. I don't use them in the Spec Ops modes, and I don't use them in multiplayer. I think those guns are just dog shit because they have potential to one-shot, which is no skill to use. So I just don't use them. And speaking of one-shot weapons, we can talk about the snipers. Now, The fourth one is the SVD, which is just the Dragonov sniper rifle. This thing is so random. I've never seen a more so random fucking sniper rifle in my life. This thing uses a 7.62, I think, caliber, which isn't that, bad. The only issue I have with it is I've gotten so many hit markers with this thing on the same person. I've shot him chest and up. You would feel it was a chest shot. It would be a 2-hit, 3-hit. No, I'm hitting fucking 6 shots pretty much, and they're still not dying. It could be because of stimming, and that's why it's taking so much. But I don't think a stim should be able to fucking heal you from a fucking SVD, aka Dracov sniper rifle. I don't think it will. The second one is called the LO. Oh, it's an LO 7.62. I think that's why I'm getting the 7.62 from. That's the actual name of the sniper rifle. The second one. This is what every fucking console player used because their aim assist would just track for you and shoot and everything. And to us PC players, it's really hard to hit because of the movement system fucks the sniper rifle over. But it's not a problem with console players because they have aim assist. Kind of wish that with this new movement system, I think aim assist players should just not have aim assist because now it makes sniping much more hard for PC players and much more easier for console players. But from what I did see of the sniper rifle, it is a one-shot weapon from the chest and up, depending on the range. If it's medium, the short range, yes, it can one-shot. Long range, it's potentially a 2-shot. I've seen it 2-shot. So it's a hit and miss kind of really. But like I said, I don't do sniper rifles just because they're just not fun to use. They're so boring to use. And I think my love for them in Call of Duty dropped off on Cold War when that's what all Cold War was just snipers. And that leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Pistols, you don't really see a whole lot of people use pistols because they're so underpowered that they don't really work. Like, it takes so many shots to kill a person with. I have the first one, which I do not remember the name of the first one. First pistol was so underpowered that it would take almost half a mag, and I had a 17-round mag. It took me almost half the mag to almost the whole mag just to kill one person because the gun was so underpowered. I don't know how some people two-shot me. It was so weird. I was getting two-shotted by people who's using a fucking naked pistol, and I had a much more better classed out pistol, and I'm still getting two-shotted. I don't know how that works. Could be that console has a fucking a higher damage output system because of the console and they need it. I don't know. It was just weird that I was always getting two-shotted by a pistol, but I'm almost nearly 4 to fucking almost 15-shotting a person. The other one is called the 9mm. Oh, fuck me, what's it called? The Pilov, I think is how it was pronounced. I could be wrong on this completely. I know it's 9mm something. I just don't know the full name. This gun was not really used all that much, even though it has a little less of damage, same mag capacity as the default other one, but it just shoots faster. And I don't know why it would shoot faster, and I don't know how it has the same mag capacity size when this gun should be shooting a much more smaller round, I think. I'm not too sure because I think the other one is a 45 ACP, if I'm not mistaken. The other one should be a 9mm. So I don't know why the first default gun pistol you get, is way more weaker. It shouldn't be. But nonetheless, most people use the first one because it's much more easier. The knife, oh my god, the knife was so fun to use, especially for my last video that I did, which will be coming out soon. Knifing in here is actually a little bit better now because they kind of nerfed it a little bit. And what they did was it looked like there was no lunge at all, which is fucking fantastic. And I hope that's in Zombies too, no lunge. Because in MWZ there's lunge, and the lunge just fucks you over in MWZ. And lunge doesn't make sense in multiplayer when in real life there's no force that makes you just magically just teleport to the player, basically. There's nothing like that. And for a military sim game, that's not realistic. So I'm glad to see that they removed that. Also, they nerfed the swing animation timing. So when you do the first swing, there's a little reset before you can swing again. In Modern Warfare 3, you can just spam it. You're relying more on the tracking of the knifing to actually do it. Here, you don't get none of that. So this is all about skill. You have to make sure you're completely lined up with the person. And as long as that person is in that swing animation or is in that swing hitbox, it'll kill them. If you're not, you'll miss, and then you can be screwed because you need a way because of that little 1 second reset before you can swing again. So knifing has been actually nerfed in this, so it's kind of cool that they finally listened and nerfed it a little bit. Should be about what knifing should be because there's going to be a second before you can get that next swing off because you need to recalculate where your next swing and where you're going to swing and how you're going to do it pretty much. So that to me seems more realistic. Perks in this game is not that bad. I do have an issue, and you guys can see on the screen here, I do have an issue with at least 2 perks. You don't see the other issue just because I'll talk about it. So we have 1, 2, and 3 different categories. We have perk 1 slot, perk 2 slot, perk 3 slot, and then we have red, blue, and green, pretty much. And for the main one, we have Assassin, Gunho, Double Time, Dexterity, Bankroll, Bruiser, Scavenger, Engineer, Vigilance, Ghost, Tracker, Cold-Blooded, Forward Intel, Ninja, Quartermaster, Flank Jacket, Dispatcher, Guardian, Fast Hands, Attack Mask, and Gearhead. Now, they have a brand new system into this, which is kind of cool. Which you guys can see in the right, you probably have already read it. So basically, if you match 3 of the same colors, you get this combat specialty. And this is where my little issue kind of lies in. Now, here's why. If you combine Vigilance, Tracker, and then you have any other one, which I would probably have to assume Forward Intel. So put Forward Intel, you would get the blue combat specialty, which is a recon, which means, well, let me explain what actually the other ones are for. So Vigilance is awareness, essentially. And what Vigilance/awareness is if somebody's looking at you, you will get a notification either on the bottom, left, or right of your screen, depending on where you're being looked at. And it will highlight that area, telling you to look in that direction because someone's seeing you. Tracker is pretty much, it just shows the enemy footsteps. So if you're waiting for an enemy and you went to a hiding spot, and just as they're coming around, they'll see that footprint leading up to where you hid. So, which is kind of stupid. And then Forward Intel just makes the mini-map bigger so you can see more of the players, like red dot or pings, or even if someone has a UAV, you can see almost pretty much the whole map where they're at, so you have a much more better idea of where they're at. Then if you combine all 3 of those, you get the Recon Combat Specialist, which, you read it, enemies can be seen through walls for a short time after respawn. Leave no death scars when killing enemies. So I'm kind of a little weirded about why they have the Recon and the Vigilance doing the exact same thing. Pretty much because I don't think Recon should kick in until that death happens. So, which it does. It does kick in for the see-through walls, but it should be for everything else. So in case you don't see another person that's on your right or left and you die, that should kick in as well. But Vigilance kind of changes that. Vigilance actually makes it so you're more seen. Because I've seen people who don't have Recon but still have that little indicator which tells me that that's Vigilance. That has to be it. And I think I'm correct on that too. But that's my problem. So they pretty much have 3 things that kind of help bad players. Everything else doesn't really help bad players in this situation. But either way, I think having anything that helps bad players is a horrible addition to any fucking Call of Duty game. We'll do wild cards next. It's not the way my list works, but I'm gonna go with it since I didn't mention it. So we have wild cards back. Now I have an issue with these, mainly 2 of them. So as you can see here, the first one is Overkill. This has been in the game for so fucking long that devs just don't fucking listen, and we should not even have this at all. Period. We should not even have the ability to have 2 primaries. But this is what Overkill does. Overkill gives players 2 primary weapons. This needs a nerf, pretty much, or just be removed from the game completely. I don't know how they would nerf it. I would just say remove it. I think you can't have fast hands, and I think, honestly, it should disable your special combat. Pretty much, I think is what it should do. If you're going to have Overkill, it disables your special combat. Or it just disables all your perks entirely. Just have to run with 2 primaries and get fucked over, I think, in my opinion. Gunfire, it makes you have from 5 attachments to 8 attachments because the limit on attachments are 5. And this increases that from 5 to 8. So it's kind of cool. So you can almost have almost every part on the gun. Which, would that be considered overpowered? Not really. It doesn't really matter what parts you have on the gun. It's still a skill thing. I could make my gun have no recoil, really easy to control, high fire rate, a lot of ammo in the mag, and I could still get dumpstered by somebody because it's not about the weapon that you use, it's about the skill of the person behind the weapon. Essentially is how it should be. It's not anymore, but that's how it should be. So I don't think gunfire is overpowered. It definitely won't be. Perk greed basically gives players a 4th perk, a total of 5 if you count the combat specialist, because the combat specialist is considered a perk, but it'll give you 4 basically. So as I showed, you can run both ninja and ghost. The only issue is I think if you want perk greed, it actually disables something else. Like it should disable, I don't know, your tactics and lethals or something. Something that it counters, or disable snipers or something. I don't know. Maybe score streaks? Maybe it disables score streaks, and that way you can't use it, or score streaks if you want poke read. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to nerf half this shit and giving good ideas. But in my opinion, overkill definitely needs to be removed, and then poke read should have some type of negative to it. I don't think there is a negative to it. In Gunfighter, I just don't think it needs to be nerfed. I think it's fine the way it is. Gunfighter, I don't have an issue with having 8 fucking attachments. Doesn't mean that you're an overpowered player. It just means you have more attachments to pretty much either help you get better or pretty much fuck you over. It really depends. Field upgrades is back still in the game. Of course, we're always going to have field upgrades, I guess, now. I guess that's a staple of the game now. So, kind of have the same ones. They just relabeled them, kind of, in a way. So, the first one is you have Assault Pack, which basically just replenishes your ammo. So, when you're out in combat and you are low on ammo, or you need to replenish your tacticals or lethals, you place this down, pick it up. It'll automatically give it to you. So you don't have to worry about having to like look down, quickly hit the button to grab it. It'll automatically give it to you, which is a really cool thing. I believe in the older cards, you still had to grab it after you put it down. This just gives it to you when you put it down. Trophy system, which is the naughty thing to have, is to stop. I should say lethal. I shouldn't have put lethal. I'm gonna scratch that and not say lethal. It stops any projectiles. Or it's not supposed to stop all of them. There's some things it's not supposed to stop. But at the time current being, it does stop every aerial projectile that you can throw at it. So it'll stop a rocket launcher, it'll stop a grenade, Simtex, Tomahawk, it'll stop that. So, again, like I said, it's a naughty thing to have, and I don't know how you would nerf this other than maybe instead of it making it a 6-shot, projectile thing, it should be a 2-shot. So after the second one, it's done. It just blows up itself, and it's over with. Then you can just start, spamming grenades in there. But I don't know. And then we have this other thing called, I guess it's kind of like a toxic. I guess it produces some type of toxic that damages the player, and also makes the players see enemy players on the minimap. So when you get hit by this, you're taking damage, and on the minimap, it actually puts a lot of dots on it, so you won't know who's really if there's an actual player nearby you or not. You're just sitting there waiting for him, and the next thing you know, the player is on your left. So I don't know if this removes current players on the map, and then it just replaces it with random dots to make you hallucinate. I don't know. I never fully tested how this would work with a UAV even active. I don't know. But if you get hit by this, stimming will get your health back, but it will not remove the effect, which is kind of cool. The acoustic amp. Footstep audio, so I don't know if this counters Ninja. I'm not too sure. Since it is a field upgrade, it's not like it's gonna fully counter it. You do have to own it to get to use it. So it's not a solution to it, but it does help you in situations where you may be getting screwed by Ninja. It could help a little bit, but I'm not too sure. I didn't fully test it. I can't test it until I'm in an actual game lobby and being able to do it. The cool feature that they added into the game, which I think is the best feature in my opinion in the game, is the Sleeper Agent field upgrade. Basically makes you look like the enemy player. You're on the enemy player's team, but you're still on your team that you spawned in on. I know it's confusing. Basically, when you start the game off, you're on your team, and then you have the enemy team. Once you get this field upgrade and you use it, you will look like the enemy player. You'll have the red name and everything, and you look like a friendly to the enemy players. But you're not. You can still kill them. That's the coolest thing. You don't kill your own teammate. You can kill the enemy team, and they won't know that you're killing them. And I know what you guys are thinking. Well, Pony, doesn't the Sleeper Agent, when it's showing the kill feed that, this person killed this person? No, they black it out. The issue I do have with this, which I think, I don't know, I never fully tested it, but I think it does. The kill cam reveals the name. So I don't know why the kill cam reveals the name. If this is supposed to be a sleeper agent, shouldn't even the name that killed you in the kill cam be blacked out? That would make more better sense, but it's not. So all somebody has to do is look at the name and oh shit, that was the sleeper agent. Kill him. And 2, I think every time you kill somebody, you change kind of outfits really quickly. You change a little bit what you look like, so people don't remember what you wore to be able to kill them. That's another downfall. The only issue I have with this is countered by pretty much all those perks I mentioned before. Vigilance will counter it. Tracker, I believe, does counter it. Recon counters it. Attack Helo counters it. UAV counters it, because when a UAV is up, you all, I guess, revealed, I guess, because I don't know why. If you activate it before the UAV shouldn't know that you're an enemy. It should know that you're friendly on the enemy team. And I don't know why the UAV would somehow just screw that over. Oh, the aim assist. Aim assist counters this as well, because all they have to do is like aim at you. If they accidentally aim at you by mistake, thinking you are a enemy player, technically you are, but if they aim at you and without knowing you're a sleeper agent, the aim assist will still track you. So it kind of gives it the aim assist gives you away. I would like to see that sleeper agent has no counter. I believe there is a perk that does say it is immune to it, which I think is the vigilance. I believe is immune to it. So I don't understand why you would have a perk, not perk, a field upgrade that's countered by like 5 different things. It makes it utterly useless to use, and you might as well not bother using it. I might as well have all those other perks on that would counter it. I think the only thing that they need to nerf in here is the assault pack, because it does replenish way too quickly. Like, you can get it way too quick. Sleeper agent needs a buff in getting it, because it's such a cool feature, and I think it'd be kind of cool, like a whole team is like a sleeper agent for the enemy team. So it would be kind of funny that they're running around seeing so many players, but they're not finding the enemy team. I think it would be kind of really funny to see that, in my opinion. Tacticals and lethals. So for lethals, we have the standard grenade, Simtex. We have some type of thermite. It's not a sticky thermite, so I'm kind of hoping we'll get a sticky version of it. We have a claymore, which is called the blast trap, and we have a throwing knife, aka combat axe, or people call it the tomahawk, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a tomahawk, but it is a combat axe. And then for non-lethals, which I guess is tactical, concussion, which is like a stun, flashbang, which is a flash grenade, stim shot, stems, proxy alarm. And what that actually does is basically it just, you set it up somewhere if you that you're going to be able to hear it, and if an enemy player walks by, pings them on the map for you, and it actually produces a sound when they walk by it, so you know which direction you come from. If you have 2 down, you know which way to look. I think that part of it should be removed, that you see them on the mini map. Should just be, you gotta like listen for the audio. If it's more on your left, you know it's on your left. If it's more to your right, you know it's on your right. And then we have decoy, which I don't want to see too much of an issue with any of these. The only thing I would love to see maybe is concussion get a little more of a buff. They buffed the flashbang. I don't know why they didn't buff the concussion. And then the blast trap should not be seen by engineer. It's such a cool feature. It's like a claymore, but you can stick it anywhere. It's like a C4, I guess, but it's a blast trap. I would like to see that not be seen by engineer. So blast trap is immune to it, so you can't see it or whatever. That'd be kind of cool. Then this way, it's more of exactly how it should be designed, as a trap. Seeing the trap is kind of dumb. I kind of get it though, but I would like to see it not. Score streaks in this game is pretty about standard. We have a scout pulse, which is just basically like a personal UAV, kind of like a watch helo kind of in a way, but it's just a portable thing that you can have and only you can see. The RCXD needs a fucking fix because it's so hard to use. The life of it's so short, and you can one-shot it. Driving it is so fucking pain in the ass. They kind of really need to fix this a little bit. UAV is about standard. I wish that UAV doesn't show a sleeper agent. Counter UAV. It should be a one-shot with LPGs. That's the only thing I have an issue with. Because I know I didn't talk about LPGs, but LPGs don't really need to be talked about. They're not really that unique and different, and almost anybody that uses it and kills you with it, you're pretty much a bitch. So I'm not going to talk about LPGs. But the UAV and the counter UAV all have 2 different amounts. So the UAV is a 1-shot, which is good. The counter UAV is a 2-shot, which I think should be a 1-shot. Watchdog Helo does counter the sleeper agent, and this is a 3-shot with an RPG. I don't know what it is if you have FMJ for rifles. I haven't really tested it. I haven't really gotten a chance to testing it. This is a bitch to deal with, especially because you're trying to deal with that, and then a player will just walk up and kill you while you're trying to take it down, giving them even more score streaks. I personally believe that any area defense, like a UAV, counter UAV, Watchdog Helo, and the Chopper Gunner, I think should all be a 1-shot no matter what. Somebody just has to swap to an RPG. The next one is the Hellstorm. Basically, it's 4 missiles. So you have the main missile that you shoot, and then you have 3 missiles that you can tell it to shoot simultaneously. So you can potentially get 4 people or all the entire team, depending on if you're really skilled and doing it at the perfect timing. I think it's okay. Tons of people are complaining about it having 3 missiles, but I actually like it because that's the whole point of it. It's a hell storm. Multiple missiles. It makes sense. Interceptors basically is useless to everybody because unless you're a really skilled player that can get it. Basically what it does is if they're all, let's say there is an actual UAV, counter UAV, watchdog helo, and a chopper gunner all active at the same time, and the interceptors will take out every single one of those at once. It will take everything that's in the sky out. The issue I have a problem with this is where it's positioned at to get. You need 1,250 score. I think this should be in between the UAV and the counter UAV. Well, in between the counter UAV and the watchdog helo. I've had games where there was 6+ things in the sky by the enemy, which I still don't know how that was happening. There were 2 UAVs, a counter, and a watchdog helo at one time, and then they called in another UAV after that, which made it 5. And it was ridiculous. I even tweeted this at Raven and Trail saying, hey, this is fucking ridiculous. It's fucking stupid. There should be one thing in the sky at a time, which means you have to like talk to your team. Say, hey, I have a watchdog. Let me call this in. Don't call in your stuff. Or, hey, I have a chopper gunner. Don't call in any of this. And then the chopper gunner was the last thing they added. And the chopper gunner, at least when I used it, I guess you were supposed to see enemy players. They were supposed to be highlighted red for you. Mine didn't do that. So mine got bugged or they accidentally forgot to enable that part of the fucking feature of the chopper gunner. I don't know. But when I used it, it didn't have that triangle thing like I saw on Slayed by Blades video when he used it. So I was kind of pissed off that I got robbed of it. What can you do with an open beta for a game that pretty much is going to fail within 3 months? It's going to be the same as any other COD. Modes, pretty much from the beta at least, we had Core Mosh Pit, and then in the open beta we had Face Off. They also added another one. Basically, as you see here, the Core Mosh Pit only had 5 maps, which was Skyline, Food, Babylon, Rewind, and Relax. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And Face Off pretty much was only Gala and Pit, and I think the other mode, Kill Order, was the same thing. I think it was Gala and Pit. And then the other mode, I think the next mode that they had in here, which is Face Off, I think, used the same map. I believe. I could be wrong on this, but the modes were fine. I was kind of getting tired of playing pretty much only Domination and Hull Point for the game modes that were in there. Because that's all I would get was Domination or Hold Point. I rarely got TDM. And then Face Off was pretty much just Face Off, TDM, and Kill Order. And they only used the Gala and Pit maps. Same with Kill Order was pretty much all the maps that was in the Core Mosh Pit one. For the maps themselves, were pretty good. I don't think there should ever be any small maps for TDM. There should be at least medium to large maps. The only map I had so much of an issue with for, I guess, respawn maps, I guess all the modes are respawn technically, but the main issue was Babylon was the worst fucking map they added for respawn, just because the respawn in there is so, like, the map is so fucking small that you can spawn right on an enemy team. Slayed by Blade did it, well, he was in the enemy team and he just kept fucking railing them because they would spawn right in front of him and he would just shoot them. Or Marksman, when he was killing players, the whole enemy team spawned behind him and just killed him. So, this is an issue with Respawn, I guess. I guess there's not enough people that complained about it. But Respawn needs to have a better spawn system. You shouldn't spawn on an enemy team, or an enemy team shouldn't spawn on you, and the spawn should reverse, and if they reverse, you should be killed before the enemy team can ever kill you. If they spawn, if you're in their spawn, it just flipped. They shouldn't be getting a free kill on you because you don't know. It doesn't say that's, spawn flipped or something like that. And then lastly, I want to talk about aim assist. Apparently, from what we were told, they nerfed aim assist. We still were not told what they did aim assist. It did seem like they did nerf it a little bit. I don't know. And again, I don't care if you're on a controller or not. If the pro console players can go up against PC players without aim assist and still hold their own, then there should be no reason to have aim assist at all. It's called skill. It's something you have to own to do. I learned how to play mouse and keyboard. I learned how to shoot. I learned how to get a kill. Playing a game that gives you a hack, basically, an aimbot, is not skill. Or a perk that lets you see enemies through walls. Or a perk that tells you when someone's looking at you. Or a perk that lets you see, well, an enemy had just started walking to. Everything needs to be about skill. You need to learn the map. You need to learn spawns. You need to learn when to listen for audio cues of someone walking around a corner. Things like that. You don't need to have basically aimbot and wall hacks to help you with that. So overall, I think the Black Ops 6 game itself, when it comes out, I just don't think it's going to be a good game. It'll be just like every other Call of Duty game. It'll be fun for maybe a month, maybe two. But then everybody's just going to start mainly, content creators more are going to hate it. Like the actual content creators that actually show different shit of the game is going to hate it more because everybody is just going to dick ride the fucking, most likely the Jackal PDW unless another gun overtakes it in the actual game. But I can almost guarantee you there's going to be mainly 3 guns people are going to use throughout the entire game's life cycle. And Raven and Treyarch are just not going to do anything about it because they're part of Activision, and Activision doesn't do anything about it. They want to try to make it as easy as possible for pick up the controller and can be able to kill a pro player. So honestly, it's just going to be the same as Call of Duty. I don't know why people are getting so hyped over it. The only cool feature about the game is literally the sleeper agent and the body shield, which I didn't mention. I'll mention it now because it's a cool feature, which basically you can get up if you get behind an enemy instead of doing a finisher move on them. You can grab them and use them as a human shield, and you can talk to them, which is kind of cool. The issue with that is people are always starting to complain about it, saying it's not needed. We don't need it. Or some people are saying it's inhumane to use an actual player as a shield. What players who actually don't, or people who don't understand how the system really works is, the person you grab to use as a shield, their teammates cannot kill them. The bullets would just hit them, but it won't do anything. So it's not like it's going that far, which I don't know. I'm not going to really sit here and judge anything about it. So overall, I just think Black Ops 6 is maybe roughly a 2, maybe. I'll be graceful and give them a 3 out of 10 just because until we actually see zombies in the campaign, just going off of multiplayer alone, it's just going to be a 3 out of 10 until I can see the campaign and zombies. Those are good, and I'm talking about good. Like, those are going to be what makes the game memorable. The game's just going to be a 3 out of 10 overall until I can see those other parts of the game. But I guess until then, guys, this is Game of Hoofster Pony. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. To let me know that you guys did enjoy it, please click that like button. It'll let me know that you guys did. Also, comment down below what you guys want me to play or see next for a video. Till then, this is Game of Hoofster Pony. Signing off.